Hello, my dear students. How are you all? I hope all of you are safe and fine. So, let me continue our EVS 1 subject, and from that, today we will see our next lesson, that is lesson number 18, Environment and Us. The title of this lesson itself tells us that it includes the relationship between environment and all the living things. Okay, so let's start. Can you tell, with the help of the questions below, explain what would happen if forests are clear on a large scale? Okay, means if forests are clear on a large scale from our environment, then what would happen? Okay, so we want to see some questions, and from that answers we have to find it out. Okay, so see here, first question is, will water and food sources for living things grow or dwindle, and why? Okay, it means that whatever water and food sources are available for living things, they will grow or get dwindled. Dwindle means day by day decreased. Okay, so according to you, what's your answer? Yes, obviously it get what? Dwindle, or day by day they get decreased. Correct? Okay then. Then why? Yes, due to cutting of forest. Okay. Now we will see second question. That is, will the living things look for shelters elsewhere or stay on, and why? In living things, so many animals, plants get included. Correct? So, after forest cutting, they will stay on there only? No. They are looking for shelters elsewhere. Correct? They search for shelters to protect them. Right? No? Okay. Then, now, third question. Will the space occupied by the plants and animals increase or decrease? And again, why? Okay, it means what? The space occupied on our earth by plants and animals, it get increase or decrease? Yes, correct. Answer is decrease. And again, what's the reason for this? Yes, because forests are cleared on a large scale. Right? Good. Now, last question. Will the number of living things increase or decrease? And again, why? So, I would say that the number of living things in the age of humans will decrease. Correct? There are species going extinct every day due to different types of human activities, some of which are unknown to science. Correct? And that's why number of living things get decreased. Right? So answer of all these questions are related to our environment. Right? So now in next point we will see all the reasons behind these questions. Okay. So our next point is deforestation. Okay. So our next point is deforestation. The population of the world is now close to 600 crore. Okay. It means that the population of the world is day by day increasing. Right? Man is developing new technology to meet the needs of all these people. Right? Man is developing new technology to meet the needs of all these 600 crore peoples. Right? That's why man is searching for mobiles, computers, and so many modern technologies. Correct? And is using up more. Right? No? We are also using these new modern technologies right now. And more land and water resources for this purpose. It means that for modern technologies, we need land and water resources. We are consuming this for modern technology, right? For example, open spaces are required on a very large scale for agriculture, right? Then for housing, then industry, for building roads and railways. And for all these, forests are cut down to make place for them. It means that humans can only cut down the forests for them only, right? But due to this, what happened? It get affected to the other living things, right? And why this happen? Due to increase population, right? Then marshy or low-lying areas are filled to reclaim the land. Okay, means that type of land also we are using for the modern technology, right? The environment provides shelter to different kinds of living things, right? In our environment, there are so many different kinds of living things are there, right? So, our environment provides the shelter to all of them, correct? There are many different types of plants in forests, right? Birds build their nest in trees. then animals like the bear, deer, monkey, elephant, tiger all live in the forest, right? That is, they find shelter in a forest only. Right now, all they are living with us at our home? No, not possible. Correct? They need for their shelter forest only. Right? So, remaining all their needs are also met in the forest. For example, their food, right? So, if forests are reduced, biodiversity is also depleted, right? It means if forests are reduced, the biodiversity. Right now, what is meant by biodiversity? That is the variety of plants and animal life in the world. Okay, it also get reduced and is depleted. It means what? It get diminish or exhausted from the earth. Okay, so for that, what's our responsibility? To protect our nature, that is environment, to take care of our environment, right? So we will stop here today and remaining part we can see in next period. Okay, I hope all of you understood this lesson up to this deforestation point, right? Okay then, see you. Bye bye. Good morning to all my dear students. Let me continue our EVS 1 subject. From that, lesson number 18, the environment and us. In the previous period, we had learned that what will happen if forests are cleared on a large scale. Correct? And the main point, that is deforestation. Correct? So, now in this period, we will see our next point, that is pollution. In the previous lesson, that is water, we had learned about the water pollution. Correct? So, let's start a point, that is pollution. You have seen how water sources get polluted if wastewater is let into them without processing, right? In the previous period, we had learned about all these things, that when we let out the wastewater into the water sources without processing, that water get polluted. Correct? And this wastewater flowing out from where? Factories or industries. Correct? So, wastewater is also given out from factories into their surroundings. If water from such a polluted sources keeps soaking into the soil, the soil becomes infertile, right? It means when such a polluted water gets soaked into the soil, then that soil or that land becomes infertile. That is, infertile soil or land, it means is not good enough for plants or crops to grow well there. Correct? That's why when we let out the wastewater flowing out from factory or industry into the water resources, we want to do some water treatment on that water. Correct? And then only we have to let out that water into the water sources. Right? Then, like this, when chemical fertilizers and pesticides are used on a large scale for agriculture. Correct? At that time also they seep into the soil. It means they get soaked into the soil, that chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and finally flow into the rivers with rainwater. Correct? So, due to these reasons, water get polluted and soil also get polluted. Correct? And it arise water pollution also and soil pollution also. This is dangerous for the plants and animals there. And that's why their number reduces and eventually they die out altogether. That is, they become extinct. Okay, that's why what happened? It get reduced the number of plants and animals which are living there. It means it's our responsibility to take care of all the natural resources. Correct? So all of you are ready for that? Okay then, good. So next point, that is, can you tell? Question number 1. What could be the reasons of air pollution? Okay. So now every one of you know that there are so many different types of reasons for air pollution. Right? Still, see here, air pollution is caused by solid and liquid particles and certain gases that are suspended in the air. These particles and gases can come from car and truck exhaust, that is, different types of vehicles exhaust. Then factories, industries, dust, volcanoes and wildfires. Okay, so due to all these reasons, air pollution get arise. And we had already learned the effects of this air pollution on the human beings or other living things in the previous lesson, that is transport. Correct? Okay. Then question number 2. What are the different purposes for which fuels such as petrol, diesel, kerosene, natural gas, coal and wood are used. So, see here, fuels like wood, coal, kerosene, then cow dung, etc. are used in our homes for cooking, right? And similarly, for transport, coal, diesel, natural gas and petrol are used as fuel for road, sea and air transport, right? It means we are using all these fuels for different purposes for transport in automobiles and locomotives. Okay, and all of you are aware about all these things, that we are using such a different types of fuels for different purposes, right? Good. So for home purpose and the transport purpose, we are using different types of fuels, right? So, fuel is used in all homes. Besides, there are big industries and factories in which fuel is used in great quantities. Okay, and so it get affected on human health and other living things too, right? Okay then. So here we will stop our session today. Okay, every one of you please read out this lesson up to pollution point. Okay, see you soon. Bye bye. Hello everyone. Welcome you all in our next session of EVS 1 subject. Let we continue our lesson number 18, that is the environment and us. In the last period, we had completed 2 points, that is deforestation and pollution. Okay, so let we continue our pollution point. So let's start. Fuel is used in all homes. Besides, there are big industries and factories in which fuel is used in great quantities. It means the fuel which we used in our homes, that one is in very small quantities, correct? But the fuels which we are using in big industries and factories, that is used in very large quantities, correct? So, on the one hand, tremendous quantities of carbon dioxide enter the air due to burning of fuels, correct? Because of this great quantities of fuel which we are using in industries and factories, what can happen? that tremendous, it means in very large quantities, carbon dioxide get what enter into the air, correct? And due to large scale of deforestation, the number of trees available which are absorbing this carbon dioxide is dwindling, correct? In the previous period, we had seen this point that due to deforestations, plants and animals get dwindling, correct? And if it get happen, then who will get absorb the carbon dioxide then, correct? This is one of the big question in front of us, right? Okay. So, as a result, the proportion of carbon dioxide in the air rising continuously, correct? Because if the plants were not get present there to absorb the carbon dioxide from the air, then obviously what happened, the proportion of carbon dioxide in the air, it get continuously increasing day by day, correct? Because what we need, oxygen for respiration, correct? It means we cannot absorb the carbon dioxide in our body, right? For that we want only plants, right now? Okay. So, when the proportion of carbon dioxide in the air rises, it leads to rise in temperature, okay? When we see that what today temperature is very what high, correct? It means that at that time in the air, the proportion of carbon dioxide is get increases, right? And we see such a temperature rise in all parts of the world, correct? Okay, it means it get affected to whole the world. Understood? So, for this purpose, what we want to take care of our environment, that is forest, and it means that is plants and animals. Okay. So, all of you understood this point? Okay then. Besides, when fuels are burned in vehicles, they give out certain poisonous gases as well as smoke. Okay, it means when fuel get burned into the vehicle, it gives out some poisonous gases and smoke. All of you know all these things, right? Then similarly, like the vehicles, industries also let out some poisonous gases into the air, and all this leads to air pollution on a very large scale, correct? It means when these types of poisonous gases let out or absorb into the air, it leads into air pollution. And similarly, it get affected into our environment, right? Now, next point. Can you tell? You see a food chain in the picture on the screen, correct? But here in this picture, one of the link is missing. Which one is that? Yes, at the place of question mark. Correct. After the sun. Right. So, what effect will it have on the grasshopper and on the bird? What picture should there be in the blank space? Okay, it means we have to find out the answers of these some questions. Okay, so all of you are ready with me? Okay, so think on it. Yes, what picture should there be in the blank space? Anybody can tell me from you all? Yes. Okay, so I will tell you. In the blank space, what comes after sunlight? Who will get absorb the sunlight, or who wants the sunlight for their growth? Yes, correct. Plants. Right? It means at the blank space, which picture should come? Yes, the picture of plant. Correct. Or it may be a grass. Right? Okay. So they were asking us that what effect will it have on the grasshopper that when this first link after sun, this first link get what? Missing. Okay. What get happen if the plant or grass were not there? Yes, obviously grasshopper cannot live. Correct? Right? Because grasshopper feed on the plants. Right? It means that food chain gets started with the plant life. And similarly, if grasshopper not get feed on the plants, if plants were absent, grasshopper also get absent. Okay, and if grasshopper get missing or absent, then what happened with the birds? Yes, they get also die. Correct? It means that in food chain, some animals depend on plants while some animals depend on the other animals. Correct? Okay. So, a food chain shows the feeding relationship between different organisms in a particular environment or habitat. These food chains show how energy is passed from the sun to producers, from producers to consumers, and from consumers to decomposers such as fungi. They also show how animals depend on other organisms for food. Okay. If this living thing really died out, what would be the threat to the entire living world? Yes, we cannot imagine it. Okay. So, we want to take care of our environment. It means that in our environment, from plant life up to animal life, everything is important. Right? Okay. And that's why we want to take care of our environment. So, we will stop our discussion here only. I hope all of you understood this video. If not, please watch it once again. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Hello my dear students. How are you all? I hope all of you are safe and fine, right? Okay then. Before start our lesson, I would like to talk with you about our activity. I hope all of you are be ready with your EVS activity. Is it correct? Okay then. In this week, when we are arrange the meeting, at that time we will see your EVS activity. Okay. So all of you are be ready with your activity. Okay. Good. So right now we will start lesson number 18, that is Environment and Us. Okay. So our next point is the need to maintain environmental balance. So due to human intervention in nature, okay, large scale changes are taking place in the air, water and land due to some human activities affects on large scale on air, water and land, that is on our environment. Also, these non-living or abiotic components. Abiotic factors or components means non-living things. Okay. So which are those? Yes, sunlight, air, soil, water, atmosphere and temperature. These are the some abiotic factors. Correct. So it will get effect on these abiotic components also. Okay. All these factors get polluted due to human intervention. Okay. As a result, the existence of living things is threatened. Okay. What's the result of all these things? Due to all these things, living things get what? Extinct. Right. If one factor of the environment is get damaged, if any one factor of our environment get damaged, it directly affect on the other factors in the chain. Understood all of you? All of you know that right now some wild animals, living things, life get become extinct. From time to time, some of the living things on the earth become extinct. Okay, they get disappear from the environment. But today this process is taking place at a much faster rate due to different types of causes. So which are those causes? Right, loss of habitat, then lack of food, lack of genetic diversity, some different types of diseases and so on. So this is a threat for the whole living world. Understood all of you? It means if any one factor from our environment get damaged, it will directly affect on the whole living world. Okay. Okay then. Now next point. Do you know if the different types of plants and animals become extinct one by one, many of the links in the different food chains will be lost? Okay, there are some different types of food chains which are having many different types of links, correct? So if that particular plant or animal become extinct, it get affected on that food chain. Okay, many scientists believe that this will affect the entire living world on the earth, and the balance in nature will collapse. It means due to all these things, the environmental balance get disturbed. Okay, so we want to maintain the environmental balance. Understood all of you? Okay, now we will see next point, that is our needs and the environment. So next point is our needs and the environment. Food, water and clothes are the basic needs of all the people. We use a lot of things to meet these needs, correct? It means for making clothes, then food, okay, then shelter, we use lot of things, right? Besides this, we use many means and devices for the purpose of studies, then sport, hobbies and entertainment, right? We even stock up these things so that they will be available to us whenever we need them, correct? So all these things are obtained by using materials from our environment only, correct? It means who will give us all these things? Correct, only environment. So all the people in the world have similar needs and desires, correct? Not only for you or me, it is for our whole world, correct? As a result, the environment is being degraded rapidly. Due to all these things, our environment get degraded, correct? So for this, we need to be aware that we ourselves are a part of this nature, okay? If the balance of nature is get disturbed, it will adversely affect on the human beings too, right? So we need to take steps to prevent the degradation of the environment. We want to do something, correct? For example, right now the mission that is Swachh Bharat is going on in our India, and plastic also get banned, correct? So all these things means the one step to protect our environment. Is it correct? So such a measures should be practiced sincerely by each and every person, then only our environment get protected. And the steps should mainly include the recycling of the different types of articles and using our means frugally. It means very carefully, okay, or use it needfully. It means that by doing all these things we definitely protect our environment, okay. So we will stop here today. I hope all of you understood this. If not, please watch the video once again and complete your notes in your EVS 1 notebook. Okay, bye bye. Hello students. Good morning everyone. Let me continue EVS 1 subject, and from that lesson number 18, that is the environment and us. In the previous period we had learned about what is deforestation, then what is pollution, what are the effects of pollution on the living things, then the need to maintain environmental balance, then our needs and the environment, and food chain. Okay, so let's start our today's session. From that, first point is global efforts for protection of the environment. Okay, but before that, one point, that is speak your mind and discuss. In this point they are asking us 2 questions. Okay, but this time you have to find out the answers of this question. I have already taught you about these 2 questions. Just you have to remind it again in your mind. Okay, so all of you are ready for that? Okay, see here, first one, how much stock of the necessary things should we keep with us? It means how much stock of the necessary things we should keep with us. Yes. What do you say? Yes, correct. According to our need only, right? Good. Then second one, discuss with respect to each of the following. Okay, that is water, food and clothes. All of you know the usage, then the need of all these things. Am I right? Okay, so just remind it or recall it. So we will start our main point, that is global efforts for protection of the environment. Several projects are being implemented at the international level to maintain the balance in nature. Okay, there are some projects which are at the international level to maintain the balance in our nature. So it is important to raise the awareness of the people all over the world about the threat to environmental balance. Okay, what's the purpose behind this? To aware the people, correct, about the environmental balance. Many countries of the world are enacting laws that will help to prevent the pollution of air, water and soil. Understood? It means many of the countries of the world are enacting these laws about pollution of air, water and soil. Okay, it means they obey the laws for all this environmental balance concept. Okay, next point, that is efforts to maintain biodiversity. Okay, now we will see what is meant by biodiversity parks. An area which is reserved for the purpose of protecting and conserving the biodiversity of a region is called a biodiversity park. Okay. So, what it means? An particular area which is used for the purpose of protecting and conserving of the biodiversity of that particular region. That area is called a biodiversity park. In this park, biodiversity is both preserved and studied. People visiting such a park enjoy being close to nature. They are really happy when they visit such a biodiversity park. This leads to more concern for nature. Okay. So, the next point is about national parks. I hope all of you heard this word national park. Yes? Okay. Anyone can visit any national park? Yes? Okay. So, now let's see what it means. Some areas which are important for the protection and conservation of wildlife are called national parks. Okay, it means that some particular areas which are important for the protection and the conservation for a particular wildlife animals like tiger, then bison, cheetah and so on. Okay, in that area what they do, they protect and conserve this type of wild animals. Okay, so for example, Kaziranga National Park, and next that is the Tadoba National Park. Where it is located, you know? Right, in Chandrapur, Gadchiroli. Okay. Now next and last point, that is sanctuaries. Certain forest areas are reserved for the protection and conservation of a particular animal or plant. Listen carefully. Now, certain forest areas we can reserve for the protection and the conservation of that particular animal or plant. That type of area is known as sanctuary. Okay. Such a reserve area is called a sanctuary. For example, Radhanagari Sanctuary, famous for bison. Okay. Here you can see the image of Radhanagari Sanctuary, that is Radhanagari Vanyajeev Abhayaranya. Okay. Which is famous for the protection and the conservation of the wildlife like bison. Okay. So, last conclusion, that is, if the plants on the earth are destroyed, the numbers of animals also get fall. Correct? That is why it is necessary to protect plants in forests. If deforestation is stopped and instead of that tree plantation is stepped up, animals that depend on plants will get protection and thrive. Okay. So, what is our responsibility? Yes, to protect our nature by planting a tree every year. Okay. So, all of you are ready for the protection of our environment? With me? Okay then. Good. So, bye-bye my dear students. See you soon. Thank you so much. Hello students. Let me continue EVS 1 subject. From that, lesson number 18, the environment and us. In the last period, we had learned about some terms, that is biodiversity parks, national parks and sanctuaries. Okay. So, let me continue our sanctuaries point. See here, Mayani Lake has formed due to a dam built on the Chand River in Satara district. Okay, one lake has formed known as Mayani Lake, which found in Satara district. Okay, flamingos from the Siberia region in northern Asia migrate to this lake. It means the flamingo birds were migrate to this lake from where? Northern Asia. Okay. Here they build nests and lay eggs. Once the baby birds grow big enough, they return with them to Siberia. Okay. In the recent post, as the water level in the dam had fallen, the flamingos had stopped coming. Okay. When the water level in the dam get decreased, at that time the flamingos had stop coming. However, the lake has now been declared a sanctuary for birds. It means this Mani Lake has declared a sanctuary for birds. Okay. Then next point. There is a Maldoc, that is a great Indian bustard sanctuary at Nanach in Solapur district. Okay. Which one? A Maldoc sanctuary. Where it's situated? At Nanach in Solapur district. These huge weighty birds are famous for their graceful gait. These birds live in open grasslands and they feed on insects. Okay. As they are hunted for their meat and their eggs, their number is fast dwindling. Okay, that it means their number decreases in a large amount by hunting. Maharashtra state has declared the Nanach area a sanctuary for the great Indian bustard. Deer are also found in these grasslands. Okay, so if possible, please visit this place one time. Okay. Now next point. About 50 km from Pune, on the Pune-Ahmednagar highway, the village of Morachi Chincholi is famous for its peacock population. Okay, one place which known as Morachi Chincholi, okay, which is famous for its peacock population. The old well look after tamarind trees here have created a favorable environment for the birds. People have found sanctuary in this village. Okay. Then next point, that is Devrai, a boon for all living creatures. Listen carefully. Indian culture gives importance to the protection of forests. Correct? The Devrai is an example. Now, people believe that a Devrai is really a jungle reserved for God. No trees or plant in a Devrai is ever cut. That is why all trees in a Devrai are safe even today. Means at that time that people, what they believe, that in Devrai, that is a jungle reserved for only God. That's why no single tree or plant can cut over there. Okay. Maharashtra has many Devrais in Madhya Pradesh. They are known as Sharanvan. Devrais gives shelter not only to the plants but also to the animals that live there. Correct? And hence, Devrais can be called the sanctuaries of ancient times. Understood every one of you? Okay. Now next point, that is always remember nature provides enough for every man's need, but not for every man's greed. Okay. So every one of you remember this thing. Next, that is what we have learned. First point, there are interrelationships between all living and non-living things in the environment. Right? Okay. Then second point, different kinds of plants, animals and microorganisms are found in different regions. Okay. Third point, the balance between the cycles of the various gases in the atmosphere, the water cycle and food chains has been maintained for thousands of years. Correct? That is, the water cycle and food chain are maintained for thousands of years. Then fourth point, pollution of water is a threat to aquatic plants and animals. So for that we want to prevent the water pollution. Okay. Then next, we shall all have to make efforts to stop the degradation of the environmental balance caused by human intervention. And last but not least, that there is biodiversity parks, national parks and sanctuaries are created for the conservation of plants and animals. Okay. Okay then. Here we will end up our lesson number 18, that is the environment and us. I hope all of you understood this lesson properly. If not, please watch the video once again and clear your doubts. Okay. Then every one of you please read this lesson 2 times and complete your notes in your EVS 1 notebook. Okay. Okay then. See you soon. Bye bye. Thank you so much.